When Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was released in 2022, it was the long-awaited sequel to the original Doctor Strange film from 2016. And while it was considered a financial success in terms of revenue on receptions from critics as well as audiences, details from the movie divided people's interpretations of it, and it was considered to be one of the better films of the early post-Endgame Marvel Cinematic Universe. But the speculative scenario is this: how did Doctor Strange of Earth 838 defeat Thanos in the Multiverse of Madness? The main complaint that casual viewers had with the Multiverse of Madness were details pertaining to Wanda, or alternately due to the events in WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch's powers or abilities. Casual viewers couldn't understand the changes in her personality or increases with her powers and abilities. When through events depicted in the series, the Darkhold was a tome of forbidden knowledge and vastly increased her abilities in terms of magical potency, but also took an effect on her mind. The entire concept of the Darkhold was something of pivotal importance, and while the entire concept was basically a plot mechanism to tilt Wanda's personality and interpretation of everything around her, it would actually be one of the main yet discreet references to how Doctor Strange of Earth 838 killed Thanos of 838. The entire battle or aftermath of the battle was from an alternative point of view, and events of the said confrontation weren't shown, only hinted at or mentioned through passing dialogue from other characters in the film. When the Illuminati came to the location of the epic battle, it was already concluded with, and Thanos was dead, but Doctor Strange was victorious. However, Stephen Strange was severely weakened from the fight, but even against an extraordinary opponent such as Thanos, he only had superficial lacerations, nothing too serious from what was seen and shown. Theories had it that Stephen Strange himself could have been technically powerful enough to have fought Thanos and killed him if the circumstances were different when in comparison to the Earth that the main Marvel Cinematic Universe takes place upon. Details from the movie had it that one of the main facts is that Thanos had some but not all of the Infinity Stones, which meant that he was partially omnipotent. Being partially omnipotent was of a nearly infinite degree in a tier of strength or power, especially from what was considered a nearly base tier for Thanos that was in Endgame, a worthy Thor wielding Stormbreaker, a matured Iron Man, and a focused Captain America wielding Mjolnir. All three of these powered men weren't strong enough to defeat Thanos on their own, as all three had to fight together to stop a basic tiered Thanos. For Doctor Strange to fight an opponent like that on his own meant that he had to stop holding back his magical potency by his own morals, standards, or judgments, and fight for the universe and for his own life. Interesting dialogue had it that in the previous Doctor Strange movie, the Ancient One and Mordo both mentioned that Stephen had extraordinary potential as the Sorcerer Supreme. The Ancient One mentioned that by having limits upon what he could do by his own judgment helped Stephen to understand his limitations as a human being and as a man of character. Mordo mentioned that by having no limits upon what he could do by his own judgment could have Stephen be cosmically powerful due to a mere human using magical powers limited only by the will or comprehension of his own imagination. All of this from either the Ancient One's view or Mordo's view were possible even without the Book of Vishanti. This was witnessed by Stephen Strange willing to use the Time Stone to lock himself into an endless loop against Dormammu, after which dying an untold amount of times forced a cosmic being to submit. All of this, with the Book of Vishanti included, arguably made Stephen Strange capable of strength strong enough to stop a base tier Thanos, with only visible damage upon him or to him, even through dialogue mentioned by Professor Xavier and the other members of the Illuminati. Stephen Strange, knowing everything that might have happened and did happen, decided decided to fight alone. This is somewhat logical due to the Illuminati later deeming Stephen Strange to be a threat even greater than Thanos to the entire reality of 838. And even at this time, when the Illuminati deemed that Stephen Strange had to die, he did not argue this proclamation by the Illuminati. He accepted it and became the hero that saved the Earth, or even the reality of Earth 838.